We're a hospice in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. We're almost a year old. We do care work for special needs children, children with cerebral palsy, with autism, various vectors and various rare syndromes as well. We do all our care work at the moment in the community, so it's home-based care that we do. Our team of carers go out to the child's home and we provide 4-hour respite care where we do all the personal care for the child, we do play therapy with the children and anything else that's really needed to give mom and dad that break. We are aiming to open our own building as well and have our own hospice, and once that is open we'll be offering daycare service, overnight service and short respite care for our parents and our children. There you go, this is Claire, one of our senior carers, with one of our young ladies, Julia. Julia has cerebral palsy. She's also slightly autistic and lovely young lady, loves to play, as you can see, very engrossed there with her shapes, and also loves to take photos, so she took that photo of Claire. She also seemed to take very well to our space blanket, as you can see there. It's Julia underneath the space blanket, really underneath it, giving Claire a big hug there, and then she decided she would rather make wings out of it, which we did, and we spent quite a bit of time flying around the garden. This is Aiden, very autistic, lower functioning end of the scale, can talk, but only Aiden knows what Aiden is saying. Lovely young boy, he's got a lot of potential. We believe he will be able to go into mainstream school with the right input. This is Keanu, and that's him photographed there with Joanne Strauss. We had a day out at M1 City, and the final part of the day we had lunch at Spur, and Joanne Strauss popped in to say hi to the children. This is quite interesting. This is one of our young men, Pierre. This is actually a piece of equipment that mom and dad have put together in the house. The idea being that Pierre would lay on this slightly angled board. At the bottom you can see there's a mirror, and as he moves his arms and legs, the pillow that he's on actually starts to slip forward. The idea being it's telling his brain that if he moves his arms and his legs, he will move. Pierre is severe cerebral palsy. This is his area where he has his physio at home. This is his standing frame. And here is Pierre with a nice big smile, always a very happy, smiley boy. All our carers go out with a care bag, and that's pretty much an example of what you'll find in each of the bags. These are our toy boxes. Each carer has one of these as well. Each of the toys are selected for the child that the carer is going to be with. So where we have a child that we can stimulate by means of music, we will put in musical instruments. Most of our children like a fluffy toy, so we always have some fluffies in there. He was in Red Cross for just over a month on palliative care. They don't feel there is much more they can do for him. However, he's now been released into his father's care. So Dad is now going to be caring for him, and we are assisting at the house with as much as possible. Again, groceries, electricity, lots of tender loving care and lots of support from mom and dad. It's a very difficult time for them, knowing that he is basically at an end of life stage. Again, if our hospice was open, we could be providing that service. Unfortunately, that's not the case at the moment, but it will be. Do you want that one?
How old was he in that photograph?
5.
5. And he had the operation at what?
5.
At 5. So that was shortly before.
Actually, it was just about a few days before he turned 5.
Before he turned 5.
So yeah, this was just before he graduated to go to big school.
Sure.
So this was probably 2-3 weeks before. And then he went to school and on the 16th of January, and the operation happened on the 23rd of January 2008. And it was like supposed to be a standard heart shunt put in. It would have been his 3rd one out of a 4 series of operations that needed to be done. And as they explained, they tried something quicker during the standard procedure. There was a change in the way they went about it, thinking they can do something a little bit quicker, and that's when everything just went wrong, and the loss of blood and the suffocation on the anesthetic all happened at the same time, and that left him with the first hypoxic injury. So after that it was lung operation in ICU, because the lung was also injured during this operation, and all the chaos that happened. They tore a muscle under his lung. So while he was in ICU, he had to go back for another operation, and that was the lung application. Otherwise he wouldn't survive because the lung would collapse. After about 3 months, he started waking up, and then it was recovery ward, and then it was the whole story about he can't swallow properly, he was refluxing, he was aspirating into his lungs. So they had to put in the pig. I don't know if you want to take a little snapshot of it there. That's when they had to do that so that he can feed. And then there were still problems because he wasn't holding down even the feed that goes through the tube, and they actually had to take his esophagus and tie it around his stomach so that it keeps down his feeds because it was still coming up. After that it was just physio for months and months and months, and then he came home 9 months later. And then from there it was 3 years of, for a year and a half he recovered quite nicely at home. He mobilized better, he even went to school, and then just about a year ago everything just started regressing out of nowhere. He stopped swallowing, his mobility slowed down, his scoliosis increased terribly, and then he developed the apnea about 6-7 months ago. And the way they explained it's when the brain tells him to stop breathing, and it became too much episodes in a day, and that's why I was hospitalized 2 months ago. And then it was decided that we need to look at a care plan for him, and they asked me what do I think he's regressing towards death, and I said, well, he's definitely going somewhere and it's not the positive way. And they said that whatever we treat him, whenever he comes in with an infection, we're not healing him, we're just intervening with a process that he will eventually not be there anymore. And we're actually putting his body through more work, and that's why, because he's pushed further than that what they expected for his condition, the hypoxic brain injury, it's the scoliosis, it's the apnea, and it's the heart condition. And he is for no further surgery because any anesthetic is deadly for him. He cannot be resuscitated even. So we decided to give him comfort care for this last month. No more antibiotics, no more drips, no more interventions of helping him recover, because his body is just doing too much work. And even on the antibiotics, on the oxygen, he is suffering more. So they give him comfort care, anxiety meds, everything to make him not feel the struggle as bad as. And from here, this is some quality time they wanted us to have at home with him. If he gets any worse at home, we take him back to Red Cross. The reason being is we wouldn't like to see him suffer, and we cannot administer the kind of comfort they can give him in the hospital, which will be the morphine. So then we asked if we know it's his last, that he spend it there rather than at home because of the struggling. And that is the last plan they have for him now.
And just from a personal view, like the support that you've been getting from Sue.
Oh yeah, I met Sue probably only a couple of months ago, almost a year now I think. And before that I've looked everywhere. I have gone to Johannesburg, I've joined the Scotsman therapy, I have joined brain therapy, and we've never really gotten anything that sort of gives us the support structure from all sides. So we were all over the place. The one facility here, the other facility there, and I think I've actually found Sue on the internet, and I'm not sure if I mailed her.
You phoned me.
Or I phoned her, but somehow I got to her, and after our first conversation on the phone, it was the first time that I heard an organization speak about so many different angles that support can be offered, because before I had to go to the one place for the one thing, to the other place, because it was very limited. The help was always very limited. And it's been so great emotionally, even financially, and everything for his needs, and just the kind of emotional support and the comfort support, because we weren't used to this kind of thing. We didn't belong to any group. We didn't, basically the hospital just gave us our child back and we went home. There was no kind of familiar, because our life changed. It was different because the was now cerebral palsy, and we needed, when we met Iris House, we basically became part of a community. I must say the school that he was at was great too, but it's only to a certain extent. Like now, they can't be further involved with him because of the way status has changed. As we, with Iris House, it doesn't matter how the wheel turns, we still get the support. There is always the door there for Ziad. And it's the only, I must say, it's the only place. I belong to quite a few institutions now that comes out to you. We've never had that before, and where they would come and see what it's about. And I mean, the hospital promised the kind of things that Sue did, come and look at the house, come and look at his circumstances, but nothing happened of that. They sent out a social worker, a nurse and things, but nothing ever came from it. Not a suction machine, not a donation of nappies, nothing came from it as what we've been getting from them. And just also, it's nice that we can chat. Yeah, it's really, for me, I'm not a chatty person in general. I'm the kind of just, go my way. But like I said, when I first spoke to Sue, it was like I knew I could speak to her because I wasn't comfortable with the other groups. I never felt quite fitted in with my child's quite severe. So I always feel like I'm the worst off when I go to other groups. That's how I feel. But it's been different because it's been at my own discretion and my own time. It's always accommodating everything that I need to do, as where other things is limited. But that is how, and I mean, Ziad has never gotten this kind of support ever.
We just wish we were open, that Ziad could be with us.
Yeah, I see it is.
It would be wonderful, but we haven't given up hope yet. If we open, he would be our very, very first palliative care, and we would love that. We'd love nothing more than to be there for him. He's very close to all of us. Very special place in our hearts. Hi. He's had enough with this interview.